between all beings. Although they would all come from the same source, their lineage would determine what they are equal as and to, which is very much similar to what we have today, where your equality is virtually determined on your lineage. Your intelligence is dependent on your lineage. Your point of effectiveness in this reality is dependent on your what color you are, which country you're in, and how your family line fit into that, and your history of your lineage and all kinds of things predetermine your experience to quite a vast degree in this reality. Now, the only way then to question this point, to bring awareness that this point in fact was a weakness, this point that there was not equality was the inherent weakness of existence, was to actually challenge the point. So in that, after these discussions and the considerations broke down and did not go any further, one of the beings that was standing as the point of balance of one of the galaxies abdicated the point of balance. Immediately many things happened at once. So we'll look at the various points from different perspectives. One was immediately that a fear arised. The fear that because the point of balance do not exist, everything will now become unbalanced, which will cause the universe to end. Fascinatingly enough, was that one of the primary points that was there, which is very similar to today. If you do not adhere to your belief system, the end of your existence will come, and then you will be judged. So in a way, that inherent judgment of what would flow out of the unbalancing of the creation as it existed then came forth. A fascinating thing then occurred. The point of free will then was challenged to truly reveal its nature. And how it was challenged was fascinating, because all that was required by everyone was a fascinating point, to stand together in their free will and have one will, and everything would be balanced. But an interesting thing occurred. Some realized an interesting point. They could say no when it comes to the point of let's stand together, and they could do it in a peculiar form of experience called spitefulness. They could hold all the power by simply saying, I will not stand together, equal as one. I will do it my way because I have free will. In that singular moment, all of the universes or galaxies started to disintegrate over time, because what was spreading like wildfire was a form of revenge. If you say you're not going to do it, I will say the same and I'll spite you back. So in spite of having all that one can imagine, in absolute balance, requiring one singular point to stand in balance, equal and one, by realizing that your free will wasn't really free, the original sin occurred, that of spitefulness. And within that spitefulness, a fear emerged that If you have to trust another, they have all the power, because at any given moment they can spite you. Therefore you cannot submit yourself to anyone, you cannot trust anyone, because what is inherent and that emerged more and more was spitefulness. And have a look, it exists exactly like that every single day of your life. Your whole life has existed in the principle of spitefulness. You have never transcended spitefulness in any way. So within that, an interesting thing occurred. Groups were formed. Groups that eventually became a different form of expression. These groups would go, and instead of balance, polarity became the guiding force of the universes. Balance was no longer, because balance became impossible, because dishonor became the principle of existence. Dishonor meaning, I have the power, the ultimate power. I can spite you whenever it suits me. And through that I can exert my power over you. And no matter how good you are, no matter how good I am, at the end of the day I still have power. I can say no. I can spite you. I can, in spite of knowing what is the best, I can do what is the best for me. And I can do it because I have free will. Because I've always had free will, which is fascinating. Yes, we always had free will. We've been in existence a very long time. In this all, a fascinating thing started happening. Things started to spiral out of control because it was no longer in balance. In the spiraling out of control, the mathematical equation of existence that was always a balanced equation became unbalanced. And because the inherent desire of free will linked to the desire and the definition that free will encompasses in the power of spite, in spite of all efforts, it became a design that was infinite in nature. It just continued because as time progressed, and remember time was always defined by those that are here in time, as time progressed, beings would continue in the direction of spitefulness and free will and create groups that work together and that define the reason why they believe there's free will to be a specific way, which you could call at that stage virtually like religions, like we have today. Have a look, the religions of today exist in spitefulness to each other. They all exist because they believe they have free will, and accordingly they express themselves and are in a way in conflict, which is the conflict point is the polarity point, and through that everything in creation that was a balanced expression became an expression of energy, because from that friction was created an energy. What was fascinating though is in that energy that was created something new emerged. You could get a higher energy and you could get a lower energy, and automatically a battle started. The battle of the stars, in a way. The battle of the stars was who can have all the cool high energy and push the others to a lower energy so that they can feel they have exerted their power of free will, which is in fact actually spitefulness, to such a degree that they have all the power and that the others are in fear of their power, which means actually in fear of their spite. So now free will has actually become something covering up spitefulness. And have a look, in today's society it's exactly what exists. In this spiraling, it was clear that the universe as we know it would be changing forever.